Browns expected to make $40 million Deshaun Watson move. He won comfort that can be attached to the Cleveland Browns' $230 million mega contract with quarterback Deshaun Watson, often labeled the worst deal in the history of the NFL, is that it's almost over. Well, not completely over, but the Browns are at least in position to waive Watson at some time in 2027, and while that might seem far off, it is at least a light at the end of the tunnel. In the meantime, the Browns have done what they can to restructure and reconfigure the deal in whatever ways possible to push the money that was guaranteed to Watson, that is, all of it into the future, and spread out the pain while creating cap space in the short term. The Browns need to do just that no matter how they approach the rest of the roster, whether at quarterback or elsewhere. But with the possibility lingering that the team could make a run at free agent Malik Willis or make a trade for Colts cast-off Anthony Richardson, it's important that Cleveland rework what they can of Watson's deal. Browns can free $40 million with Deshaun Watson restructure. And, according to beat writer Zach Jackson of The Athletic, they will do just that. Watson is slated to have a cap hit of $80 million this season, and the Browns can't afford to let that stand. Jackson wrote on Tuesday that a move to spread about half of that hit into the future is imminent. Writes Jackson, Watson is under contract for one more season after he sat out all of 2025 while recovering from a twice-torn right Achilles tendon. The Browns are expected to open around $40 million in salary cap space by restructuring Watson's contract at some point over the next several days. Browns have moved $50 million forward. The Browns have already been moving money on Watson's contract, and the fact is, even if he had been playing like an all-pro, the team probably would be doing much the same thing. The problem with Watson's money is not so much the size of the payout, but the fact that it was all guaranteed, meaning that if the guy tore his Achilles tendon twice, there was no way of moving off that cash. The Browns have, according to Spotrac, already moved $50 million of Watson's contract into future cap hits, beginning with $25 million in 2027, $17 million in 2028, and $8 million in 2029. Deshaun Watson likely to get a chance at QB1 job. As for what's next at quarterback, Jackson and other Browns reporters have indicated that all options are open to the Browns, who will have Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson on the roster and could keep Dillon Gabriel as a backup. A Willis signing would mean he gets the QB1 job, and the team would have to figure out what to do with Sanders and/or Gabriel. While the possibility of a trade for, say, Mac Jones from the 49ers seems to have dissipated, that kind of deal would mean he is the 2026 starter, too. Everything else, though, probably would yield an open competition, with Sanders and Watson both getting a chance to be the QB1 in Week 1. That includes a lower-level free agent signing, Justin Fields, as well as a draft prospect. Ty Simpson is a possibility to land in Cleveland, but it is unclear that he is ready to be an NFL starter right out of the gate. He would likely have to beat out Watson and Sanders for the job. The rumor didn't arrive with fireworks. It arrived like Cleveland weather, gray, swirling, impossible to ignore. The Cleveland Browns are expected to make a $40 million move involving Deshaun Watson. Expected. That word hangs in the air heavier than lake-effect snow. In the NFL, expectation is rarely about surprise. It's about survival. The weight of a contract. When Watson arrived in Cleveland, he didn't just bring arm talent. He brought one of the most discussed contracts in league history, fully guaranteed, financially seismic, structurally bold. The deal altered cap conversations across the National Football League. Now, the Browns stand at a crossroads where counting meets ambition. A $40 million move could mean restructuring. It could mean converting salary into bonus to free cap space. It could mean pushing money into the future to build a stronger present. In NFL terms, it's less about cutting a check and more about moving puzzle pieces on a financial chessboard. Cap space is oxygen, and contenders can't breathe without it. The art of the restructure. To outsiders, restructuring sounds like panic. Inside front offices, it's often strategy. Imagine Watson's contract as a skyscraper. The foundation is already poured. The Browns aren't tearing it down, they're shifting weight from one floor to another. By converting salary into signing bonus, they can spread cap hits across future seasons, creating flexibility now. Flexibility means options. Options mean adding a veteran pass rusher, retaining a key offensive lineman, extending a breakout defender before his price doubles. It's not just about Watson, it's about what Watson's contract can unlock. The Browns aren't just managing a quarterback. They're managing a window. The window is now. Cleveland's roster isn't built for patience. It's built for pressure. A defense that can hunt quarterbacks. An offense capable of explosive stretches. A fan base that has endured decades of almost and maybe next year. The expectation isn't development, it's post-season relevance. Restructuring Watson's deal could signal one thing loudly. The front office believes this core can win now. In today's NFL, aggressive teams rarely wait for perfect financial conditions. They create them. Risk and memory. But money remembers. Every dollar pushed forward becomes tomorrow's responsibility. If the Browns convert $40 million today, future cap sheets tighten. It's the NFL equivalent of refinancing your house, helpful in the short term, binding in the long term. The risk is clear. If performance doesn't match projection, flexibility disappears. Injuries, inconsistency, or roster turnover could turn creative accounting into future strain. Yet the alternative, standing still, carries its own danger. Parity in the NFL punishes hesitation. The quarterback equation. At the center of it all is Watson himself. The quarterbacks are gravitational forces in this league. Their contracts bend roster construction around them. When they thrive, the investment feels visionary. When they struggle, the scrutiny becomes suffocating. A $40 million move tied to Watson is less about what he has been and more about what the Browns believe he will be. Restructuring suggests faith. Faith in health. Faith in chemistry. Faith in the system. Because no franchise doubles down financially without believing its quarterback can anchor the storm. The locker room ripple. Financial decisions don't stay on spreadsheets. They echo in locker rooms. Veterans notice when management maneuvers aggressively to compete. Younger players recognize commitment. A restructure can quietly say, "We're pushing our chips in." It also signals accountability. When a quarterback's cap number shifts to create room for teammates, it reinforces shared urgency. Everyone understands the timeline is active, not theoretical. Windows in professional sports don't stay open long. They slam shut without warning. Public reaction versus internal logic. Fans will debate the wisdom of a $40 million shift. Analysts will dissect future cap implications. Social media will split into camps of optimism and skepticism. Inside the building, the calculation is colder. Can we win with this core? Does this move improve